Hello and welcome to this week's episode of your Power Packed Podlets. My name is Rachel and I'm your host for these mini magical journeys together. And this week's episode, I've decided to pack what I was going to put into two episodes into one. So we've actually got two subject matters in one episode. I'm going to be packing this full of value, and it's two very different topics which intertwine when it comes to your success. And some of the things that can be getting in the way of you creating the income you desire in your business. So let's dive straight in. And for this week's episode, I've got a little bit of a husky voice. So you've got sexy voice for this week's episode. You are welcome. So I was reading through the comments on a manifestation book a couple of weeks ago, because sometimes I find it interesting to see what people's responses are to the work on manifestation, the inner mastery to creating your outer reality. And so I was just skimming through the comments and I came across one, and it made me smile, because sometimes we don't realize the reasons that we're giving that are actually the excuses that let us off the hook and stop us doing the things we need to do to get what we want. I'm going to unpack this so it makes sense, because I know that that was a mouthful. So this comment said the following: this book doesn't teach you anything new. There's nothing new in this book that I've not read before in other manifestation books. And the reason this made me smile is the following. This person has been investing in probably not just books on manifestation, probably courses, maybe even support, and is getting frustrated. You could hear the frustration in the words, and it was the cadence of the words as well. You could tell that they were frustrated because they're looking for answers and looking for answers. And here's the piece. There is not some secret formula that is different to the majority of what you've already heard. What's changed between now and what, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and the conversation around manifestation and how you create your outer reality? The only thing that's really changed is our understanding of it is more mainstream. And so the language that is utilized is more mainstream. It's not quite so difficult to understand anymore. It's easier to interpret the words. It's still the same message, because it is still the same things that make the difference. It hasn't changed. There isn't something new out there that's being brought to the table. It's just being described in different ways. And it's not about looking for more information. If you've come to one of my events before, you've probably heard me say this, that information is not transformation. It is the action before you feel ready and when you still feel afraid and you're moving through resistance and fear towards what you desire, and you're holding yourself as you do that. So what is this? Action. So you can know that it's normal to feel certain things and that certain things are required for you to create a new reality, but it is not learning new stuff that's going to make the difference. It's taking action that will. And what people do is they will let themselves off the hook from doing what is required, because it's actual effort. It's effort, it's leading yourself through resistance, it's your old programs holding on and telling you, no, come back to safety, come back here. It's much more comfortable here. Your old programs will do that because they're familiar, you know them. And even if you're not happy with where you're at or you're ready for something new, at least it's the devil you know and not the devil you don't. And this is the thing, is that on an unconscious level and on level of nervous system, people often aren't moving towards what they want because they're afraid of the devil they don't know. They prefer to stay with the devil they know, even though they may not be happy, even though they're no longer fulfilled, they're no longer getting the income they desire, they're still working a 9 to 5. People will prefer to stay there because, well, at least I know the outcome. And so we'll look to book after book, course after course, expert after expert, and then blame it on them, point the finger and go, you're just telling me what I've already heard before. Tell me something new so that I can have the things I want. When it's not about them telling you anything new. It's to get where you've never been. You've got to do things you've never done and think thoughts you've never thought before. Take action from a different place. Lead yourself. That it's going to feel uncomfortable moving towards the new. It will. There's no getting around it. And the faster you grow, the more uncomfortable it will be, just as growing pains. You've probably heard me say this before. If you were a teenager like me and you grew really fast, your bones hurt. There's pain in your bones and your skeleton because it was growing so quickly. And it's the same when it comes to income growth, success growth, your role, what you do in your job, in your business. When you're growing really fast, there's growing pains because there's so much you don't know. You don't yet have the leadership skills for the next level. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the experience. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to doubt yourself. There's stuff that is going to go wrong, and you're going to have to learn how to manage it as it's going wrong and still move forwards and have all of the things in your business functioning well. And this is what stops a lot of people. They're like, but I want it to be pretty and soft and fluffy and cozy and comfy. And so continuing looking for the information, tell me the sweet, cute stuff, the chocolatey things that are going to get me to where I want to go. And that's not how it works. So you've maybe heard me say this multiple times. May it land for you and give you courage to go out and do the stuff in a whole new way. I'll come to the second part of today's episode in a moment. This is one of the big reasons why I run the school the way that I do. And this actually takes us beautifully into the next subject, because when you're creating something for an audience, and this was a big shift for me, I moved away from creating something and then trying to sell it. And then I decided to look to the people I wanted to work with, my ideal clients, and I would ask myself, what's something that they really need? And how can I create something that fills that need? How can I create something that is so effing good that gives my clients everything that they need to get to where they want to be, to have the experiences they desire? And then I will go out and become an expert in that and continually learn more around that thing and lead myself first, walk the path first, and then create something for my clients that provides them with what they need. So when I say that in the school, it's the support as you're navigating the hard stuff, it's not because it sounds cute. It's not because it's like, oh, isn't it nice to receive support? It's because I know that's what you need. I've seen it in my own journey and in the journeys of a multitude of clients I work with, people who aren't my clients. What makes the difference is the safety in your nervous system when you know that you are supported non-circumstantially. When you know you're in an environment that stretches you to calibrate up to another level of leadership, to another level of decision making, of being an empowered decision maker versus overthinking every single move you're making, an environment that normalizes what that looks like for you. So you can choose in that environment to become it. Again, it's not offering it because it's like, oh, that sounds sexy. How about we sell this? No, it's because I know that's what makes the difference. So let's go into part 2 of today's episode. And it's to do with making money through your business. There are 3 fundamental things when it comes to making money. It's having something to sell, it's having people to sell it to, and it's knowing how to sell it. So it's beginning with that is, have you started first by creating something and then trying to sell it, versus asking yourself, what is it people need, and then making something in accordance with that, which may just mean an adjustment of what you already have, knowing how to speak about it in a different way. If you want to be having consistent, repeatable income, reoccurring income coming in through your business, you want to have something to sell, people to sell it to, and know how to sell it. And today we're going to hone in on the knowing how to sell it. And again, if you're wondering, yes, these are all things we teach in the school. Teaching you how to understand the thing that you're selling, potentially what wants adapting or changing, being able to understand the value of it, being able to understand how to educate your audience on it. being able to guide your clients to get the maximum value from the things that you offer. This is a part of service. It's not just about selling a product or what you do or an experience. It's knowing how to guide your clients to get the most value, teaching them to lead themselves to get the value from the investment. Let's hone in on the third one, which is knowing how to sell. Because I know that lots of you listening, you are exceptional at what you do. You're either great at it because you're insanely passionate about it, or you're great at it because you've got a lot of years of experience, potentially even decades, or both. Passion, experience. And maybe you've confused being skillful at this, getting your clients results, getting great feedback, people coming back to you again and again. Maybe you're confusing that skill with being sufficient to be successful. This will only get you so far. If the only skill you have honed is being good at what you do, there is a glass ceiling on your growth. There are other skills. The skill of selling what you do is not the same as the skill of being exceptional at it, being really good at it, or even selling a really good product. You could have a fantastic product. If you do not know how to sell it, the only customers you will have are the people who know you firsthand, and maybe a handful of people who've talked about you from that group, and they'll bring their friends in. And then you reach a glass ceiling. And you've got to work really hard to get more clients coming in. The skills of knowing how to set up a business and knowing how to sell what you do, this is what makes the difference. Having both great product or service, exceptional delivery, that's one side. And then the skills of knowing how to sell what you do and knowing how to set up an ecosystem of business that functions. And I'm going to leave you with this thought. Some of you have potentially gone to university to study to get a career. It's maybe been a degree, a master's, a PhD. If you didn't go to university, maybe you took a certification or multiple certifications to become an expert in something. When it comes to setting up your business and learning how to sell and master the art of aligned, embodied sales, why would you think that that's any different? Unless you've received optimal education on knowing how to do these things, why would you just automatically know how to do them? Unless when you pause and you look around you and you can see people in your close proximity that have the level of success in business that you desire, whilst also having like a balanced nervous system and time freedom so they're not a slave to their business, unless you have people like that around you that you can learn through observation, through asking questions and through osmosis, if you don't have that in your current environment, how would you know what to do? You've probably been guessing your way there. If you already have a business, you've been guessing for some time. So let's summarize this week's teachings. Can you tell that I have two parents who are retired teachers? I won't go into that today, but they said that I wouldn't become a teacher, and look, I've become a teacher. We're going to summarize the teachings of this episode. If you've never studied business, if you've never studied how to sell in an aligned, embodied way what you do, education, fundamental. And I invite you to consider education where, as you are applying the things, you are receiving the support versus learning the course and doing it alone. I'm coming back to my notes. And then, yes, the first lesson, really beautiful one. Information is not transformation. It is leading yourself through the challenging parts of growth, the effort before the ease, the discomfort as you navigate moving towards the new. This is what creates transformation. I invite you to pause and consider what are your main takeaways from listening to today. Don't just listen to more things. It's about integration and application. So, you will have heard plenty of things about the school. In most podlets, I will bring your attention to your options of joining, because I know that for some of you, it will require that you hear about a space like the school multiple times for you to allow it to land and realize that this is your next step. You maybe have never heard of the concept like what we do in the school before. And so it's allowing yourself that time to understand what long-term coaching and mentorship is really about, the value that it brings you. Because I know that the investment is a financial stretch for quite a lot of people. And so thinking about investing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15,000 euros in coaching and mentorship, it does help to understand it. Like, understand why you're doing it. And it's not about mental understanding, it's about a feeling in your body. A lot of women join the school because they feel it. It's been this growing realization within, I'm done doing this on my own. I'm done struggling. I'm done holding the self-doubt. I'm done with the anxiety. I'm done with the overwhelm. I'm done with working so hard and not getting the results that I want, and I'm choosing to do it differently. And when you reach that moment, it's an inner knowing. You don't need logic to tell you why. You just know it's for you. And it's because it's when you are on the brink of an upgrade, of a big shift that's about to happen. And it's often the compounding awareness of things that you have in your reality that you're no longer willing to tolerate. The level of income, the amount that you have to work, the feeling like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall hoping something will stick, is this compounding awareness that you're done with all of that until you reach a point of saying, you know what, of course it makes sense to invest. Of course it makes sense for education and support. So whenever that moment may be for you, whether it's today, in a week, in a month, in a year, you know where to find me. Currently, how the school works, and this may change with time, is we have 2 entry levels. Entry level 2 and entry level 3. Entry level 2, you get the personal development, the inner mastery, the personal support as you navigate business and life. And then level 2 is all about business mastery for heart-led, soul-led female entrepreneurs. A big percentage of the women in the space are experienced, advanced practitioners and facilitators. It doesn't mean you have to be one to be in the space. The reason I bring your attention to this is so you understand the caliber of conversations that we have and the level at which we are discussing the things. It's women who are here not just to build a business, but to live life differently. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, all of the things. It's the type of space that normalizes being able to converse about not tolerating substandard in any arena of your life. So yes, for some of you, the stretch isn't just financial, or maybe isn't financial at all. The stretch is choosing that level. The stretch is knowing that you'll be in a space that holds you to a standard And so that's the stretch up for you, which is very exciting. Level 3 is our certification. Again, majority of people on this have a certain amount of experience or have a level of desire to be exceptional in what they do, because this is to become a master coach and spiritual mentor. For a lot of the women in the course, it's twofold. One, it's for their own personal journey, because we go into everything from the science, learning about the nervous system, fight or flight responses, internal family systems, the frameworks of human behavior and psychology that lead you to healing and transformation or keep you where you're at. So you can understand the human experience and the multi-layered aspect of human experience, so you can see it through frameworks. You can understand why you think and feel a certain way and what will move you forwards. Then there are the women that come in to bring all of their experience together and channel it into becoming a coach, working with high ticket, high caliber clients who want to spend on their well-being and their growth. Whatever moment you may be listening to this, we have different price ranges. It will be a minimum of 7,000 euros to join. It depends at what point in our launch we are at or what point in the year. If you're listening and thinking the school is for you, or you just want to ask questions, send me a DM, or you can check out the brochure. I'll drop that in the text connected to this podler. If you've made it all the way to the end, congratulations, first off. And secondly, I wish you a beautiful week. May you be happy. May all of the people in your life be happy. May all beings on this planet and in this universe be happy.